This is it, the Skoda Slavia in its full glory, and it feels nice to be at an unveil of a sedan for a change. Now the Slavia, it does look gorgeous, doesn't it? A lot of design elements that are very admirable. We'll get to those in a bit. But the Honda City, the Hyundai Verna and the Maruti Suzuki Ciaz, you definitely need to take notice of this sedan. Welcome to the walk around of the Skoda Slavia. Now this car is Skoda's second offering under their ambitious India 2.0 project. This is also the third car in India to underpin the MQB A0iN platform. Now this car, it replaces the Skoda Rapid and it makes a new identity for itself in the Skoda India lineup. It is aiming for big numbers. In fact, Skoda projects a 138% increase in the segment's volume, in the mid-size sedan segment sales over the next 10 years. Ambitious plans and the market definitely don't suggest so. But then again, Skoda reckons that the shift to SUVs is because this segment of cars, it lacks that excitement and zeal that used to be back in the days, and that the Slavia aims to address. Now straight up, the Slavia, it feels a lot more upmarket and premium as compared to its rivals, and that is a good thing for a lot of buyers who are looking to buy a car in this segment. It also has a lot of resemblance to the Octavia, and again, that is a compliment. So this butterfly grille, that trademark Skoda grille, bears the same outline. The headlamps, they have the same positioning. They in fact have the same DRL effect. It is an all LED treatment and a lot of nice and crisp design lines here. The bonnet too flaunts some sharp contours and edges, giving it that focused front end. Overall, it does look typical Skoda. Now, lots of intricate detailing within these headlamp units as well. You have these chrome strips and you also have a little bit of chrome here on the bumper, adding to that entire premiumness that the Slavia has to offer. 16-inch wheels on the side, 17-inch would have filled that gap a little bit better. But then again, these, I'm sure, offer great ride comfort. And in typical Skoda fashion, you have strong and prominent lines that run across the length of the car. In fact, this car has grown in dimensions as compared to the previous Rapid. So 128 millimeters, that is what it has gained in terms of the length, 53 millimeters in terms of the width, and 21 millimeters in terms of the height. Now, those are significant increases in dimensions. And this Slavia, if you remember the first gen Octavia, this is bigger than that. So it is a big car. I also like how Skoda has judiciously used chrome on the side. So there's some around the window line, on the door handles, and on the Skoda badging on this fender. The prominent creases, crisp, tight design lines, and consistent panel gaps. It is built the way we love our German sedans, and that is despite the heavy localization that the Slavia gets. Now the Slavia, it also gets a sunroof, something that the Octavia, a bigger car in Skoda's lineup, doesn't get. You'll also notice that shark fin antenna on this particular color, it is finished in a contrasting black color, does add to the sportiness. Now moving to the rear, a lot of us were expecting Skoda to introduce the Slavia with the notchback tail, but this doesn't get that. It gets the traditional boot. I'll show you how it is in terms of the boot space, but let me quickly glance over these lights. Again, just like the front, these have the crystal lighting element that the Octavia gets and a lot of other Skodas. We've seen them across their design language. It looks very premium. I also like how they've added chrome across the width of the bumper. Again, very typically European and adds to that upmarket feel. Now, as promised, a little peek into the boot. And I've already mentioned it, but 521 liters of cargo storage, that's what it looks like. Interestingly, the Slavia also get a 60-40 split rear seat. On a sedan, that is surely going to be very handy. Now, overall, the ergonomics of the boot, they are very subtle. Not so many clever bits like how we see on the Octavia and the Superb, but then again, it is adequate for the kind of purpose that is expected out of it. Now, if the exteriors have got you all excited about the Slavia, wait till you see the interiors, because this is what introduces that sense of luxury and opulence into this segment. Just look at it. Let me hop in. Oh, and that thud, it is certainly very reassuring. Lots of elements here to like. For instance, this dashboard layout, it is again very minimalistic but very likable. First thing you'd notice is this gloss trim that splits the dashboard into two, and it adds to that sense of width. It replicates the design of the grille, and it sits just under this trim here, finished in brushed gold. The front seats, they are supportive. They offer ventilation and also allow you to get yourself in a good driving position. They're also broad enough for larger occupants. In terms of features, you get an 8-inch digital instrument cluster with 3 different views, a nice and chunky leather-wrapped steering wheel, 2-spoke just like the other newer Skodas. High-quality buttons on the steering wheel and good-sized paddle shifters behind the wheel to take control when you feel like it. Comfort features are plenty. You have this 10-inch infotainment system with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, 6-speaker Skoda sound system, wireless charging, auto climate control, auto headlamps, auto dimming rear view mirrors. It's just so well specced. 2 design elements here to highlight: the Skoda badging on either side of the binnacle and the circular AC vents. They look so cool. Now, talking about the cabin itself, as I mentioned, it is the widest in its segment, so the distance between you and the co-passenger is plenty. It's adequate. It never feels too cramped. And the driving view, everything combined, it just makes it quite a joy driving this car. Although I've not driven it, I can only imagine, and I'm looking forward to the day that I drive it. Now, for those of you wondering about the ingress and egress of this cabin, let me tell you, it's not that bad. Obviously, it's not great as an SUV, but then again, elderly passengers wouldn't find it a problem getting in and out of the Slavia. But once you are in here, the space on offer is pretty good. As you can see, this seat is set to my driving preference, and I still have space between my knees and the seat in front, which is exceptional going by how tall I am. I also have space under the seat to slide in my feet, and I can set myself here quite comfortably. The headrests, they are adjustable. The headroom, well, it is just about adequate, but then again, I am not complaining. The shoulder room, that is good. The seats for themselves are quite supportive, good under-thigh support. The cushioning, that is nice. I also like the recline angle. It's quite good. Then there is this central armrest to make things even better. You have 2 cup holders here, AC vents for the rear passengers, and 2 USB-C slots. Now, when I look down further, the floor, well, it's not near flat, but it is relatively flat. And seating 3 passengers, it shouldn't be a problem. I mean, it is not as generous as the longer sedans that Skoda has to offer, but then again, for shorter trips, I don't see a problem. 2 definitely are going to have a good time in here. Now, some simply clever bits. Skoda has added these pockets to put your phone in, and you know, it just saves your phone from being thrown around in this cabin. Overall, the fit and finish levels are exceptionally good. Typical Skoda thing to do. And yeah, I quite like it. Now, those were our first impressions of being around the Skoda Slavia, and as I've mentioned it before, it does look like a very promising product. Now, I've not talked about the powertrain options because Sirish has already done a video. If you want to watch that, you can do so by clicking the link that's right up here. Now, I'll still quickly glimpse over the powertrain options. The Slavia gets a 1.5-litre 4-cylinder TSI engine and a 1-litre 3-cylinder engine. The 1.5 comes with a 6-speed manual and a 7-speed DSG, and the 1-litre comes with a 6-speed manual and a 6-speed torque converter, all of which have been very impressive when Sirish drove it a few weeks back. Now, pricing is key to the Slavia's success, and going by how aggressive Skoda has been with the Kushaq's pricing, pricing it neck to neck with the competition, I expect the same from the Slavia. So what does that translate to? 12 to 18 lakhs is what I'm expecting it to be priced between, and if Skoda delivers that or undercuts that, I think they certainly have a winner at their hands. What do you think of the Skoda Slavia? Let us know in the comments below. Also, what should Skoda price it between? Let us know again in the comments below. Like this video, give us a thumbs up, and make sure you also subscribe to the Evo India channel for all things thrill of driving. I'll see you next time. Until then, drive safe and drive hard.